What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name's Greg. Hope you're all doing all right, staying safe, being careful, self-isolating, social distancing, all the other things we are supposed to be doing. I hope you are doing. So what is this video on? This is essentially going to be on why you should quit like ASAP. Especially with the new stimulus bill that's coming out. So I wanted to go over some of that information. So I've said in the last probably 5 or 6 videos that you should stop driving. You shouldn't be out there. I've given every reason possible. There's no money. You risk your chance of getting sick, which, you know, jeopardizes your family and your friends' health or your roommate's health or whatever your situation is. And there's honestly plenty of reasons why you just shouldn't be out there. But if you're still not, I hope now more than ever you're seeing that you shouldn't. Right now, essentially, the government's given everyone like a get out of jail free card for the most part. The stimulus bill is monstrous. It's a ton of money for pretty much anyone. So I wanted to talk about that because if you guys haven't seen yet, this bill actually affects us in a massive, massive way. So basically there's a little clause in there for gig economy workers, gig workers, gigging, whatever you've ever called it. I'd actually never heard of the gig terminology until I was a part of a case study about a year ago for Lyft drivers. And they were saying it a lot, and I've never heard anybody call it that. I've always thought it was ride sharing or Uber and Lyft. Never really looked at it as anything else. So if you have any kind of gig job, gigging, whatever, you would qualify for this. Now, here's why. And this is why I said in the beginning of the video, like, if you haven't quit yet, this is 110% the time to do it now, because essentially, the only thing you need to qualify for a lot of these, they're calling it like unemployment insurance or unemployed benefits. It depends on your state, I think, what it's really called. But all you really need to qualify for this is to basically be able to say that you quit driving because you were at risk of getting sick or getting someone you know sick. Layman terms, obviously. So who does that include? Well, pretty much every single person who's driven for Uber and Lyft in the last like 2 months, maybe even 3. I can't remember when they first started talking about this stuff, but I feel like it's been a few months now, right? So basically, like, the only thing you really need to be able to prove is that you quit because of those reasons. So how hard is that really going to be to stop driving because of everything that's going on? Well, you should have already, for one, but not hard. And the reason being is that any single person pretty much can do this, is a lot of what I'm trying to say. So more than anything, quit now, you know, sign up for these benefits. Obviously, if I had to guess, more than likely not everyone's going to get it, or it might take some time. But still do it, and then just rest and, you know, take as many safety measures as you can, but take that time off, you know. Go home and enjoy, you know, your time with your family and use these benefits. There's just no reason not to, because the main thing is, even beyond the risk to you, is the risk you put on other people. And that's the way I would look at it. I feel like a lot of you might feel like a little bit of guilt doing this, but I want to explain something. One thing I've noticed with Uber and Lyft driving, and it's something that I felt like I struggled with a lot, was always feeling guilty if I wasn't doing it. Because when there's no boss telling you to come in, you can plan your days and do whatever you want, and really at the end of the day, no one can really tell you you can or can't work. It's easy to feel really guilty when you don't work, and that was what I experienced a ton over the last few years. Is every time I took a day or 2 off, I would feel guilty. Like, even if I had already put in 40 hours that week, I would always think, oh, I could have made more and put it in savings. I could have made more and paid this bill. I could have made more and got this, you know. And when you have a normal job, you can only work when you're scheduled, when your boss wants you to come in, or you're on just a traditional 9 to 5 and you always come in those days. So then what happens? Well, when you have days off, they're a little bit easier to enjoy because what else could you really be doing? I mean, at the most, some work around the house, So what I want to say to a lot of you guys is a lot of you might feel guilty taking these benefits because you're not actually sick, or you feel like you're not directly impacted. But the reality is, like, the work we do puts us at more exposure than just about anyone. I mean, we're probably right up there with like bus drivers. I mean, anything transportation is crazy. Flight attendants, pilots at least are in the cockpit, but like flight attendants especially are amidst all those people on planes, and we're amidst people all day, every day, trapped in this tiny little space. That's like where this thing really goes wild. So what I'm trying to point out to you is that even if you feel like you haven't been directly impacted by this and you feel like you don't deserve these benefits, you do. Now, if you're one of those people where you never really drove, then no, you don't. If you haven't driven since the last major holiday before New Year's, I think you probably don't need this, because you're not really a full-time driver or even like a consistent part-time driver. But for anybody else who drives a lot, who's hitting the roads consistently, putting in, I would say 20 to 25 plus hours a week, this includes you. And maybe you're not sick, maybe you don't know anyone who's sick, but you could easily be a carrier, you could easily be spreading it and not even realize it. And that's why the best case scenario for everyone during this is to just play it safe. And that's why it really is the best case scenario for you guys to stay home, not go out and drive, get these benefits, and honestly just enjoy this little mini time off that we're all getting. It's not the easiest concept to wrap your mind around, especially if you're somebody who's been working your entire life nonstop. Granted, I'm only in my 20s, so I can't relate on that level with a lot of you guys. Some of you guys have been in the workforce for 30, 40 years, and now you've been retired for 5 doing Uber and Lyft 40 hours a week. That's a major grind. Huge props to you. And that feeling, I think, is just really prevalent when that's what your life's looked like, of feeling like you don't deserve this. So I just wanted to talk about that because I know it's something that I've experienced a lot with Uber and Lyft, is guilt in just a number of different areas, especially when I wasn't working. So even when we do get back to driving, I hope you guys do think about that a lot. When you take days off, just know you deserve it. You're entitled to it. You make the hours, and it's nothing to feel guilty about. Maybe you don't deal with that. Maybe that literally was just me, but I had it all the time when I drove Uber and Lyft. I always felt guilty on days where I wasn't out there, and I always felt like I could be working harder and doing more. Or if I had a day where I took a lot of breaks throughout the day, I would feel like crap about that and be like, oh, if I'd not taken that extra hour at Quick Trip, I might have made an extra $30. Who knows? So don't deal with that mindset. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. So just some other things. I've been saying this in every video I do because I want everyone that watches these to have everything they're entitled to during these periods of time. But to get the $1,200 from the stimulus bill, that's separate from the benefits, the unemployment insurance benefits, whatever the frick you call them. The only thing that's important there is that you've done your taxes. The tax deadline is extended through July, so you can still file for your taxes. You guys should do that too. That's a no-brainer. That's $1,200. That can really help a lot of us. I know it can really help me, and I'm sure it can really help you guys as well. So for that, all you need to do is have your taxes done, and then you're totally good. For the unemployment benefits, what you need to do for that is you need to Google your state, and then something like unemployment benefits or unemployment insurance along with your state. And the very first link I've seen so far takes everyone right where they need to go. In Arizona, I had to hunt for it a little bit. It was a little bit confusing, but you spend 20, 30 minutes on the website, you'll figure it out. It's not that difficult. So definitely get those things sorted out. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. I hope you guys know that, I'm here for you and want to do everything I can to help you guys during these times. And yeah, we'll talk soon.